Hello, everybody. It is June the 14th of the 2020. This is Wrestleview Live. I am Doug Lackey, the host of Wrestleview Weekly, which is usually aired here every Sunday afternoon on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. But sometimes on weeks where there's a pay-per-view like this that happens on a Sunday, you'll see me showing up on Friday evening so that I give predictions on the show that we're about to talk about right now that just finished, WWE's Backlash, which had wrestling matches. One of them was the greatest ever of all the times. We're going to talk about that, I'm damn well sure. We're going to talk about that. Yes, I said we. It is plural, because always alongside with me for the Wrestleview Lives and the coverings of the show, it is the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mr. Mike Tedesco. Mike, how are you?
Doug, I'm doing good, man. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm left with, this was a show.
It definitely was a show. Yes. It's a weird show. It kind of felt like, I don't know. It felt like one of those like old, shows, like when Hogan was like getting near the end of his WWF run.
Yeah.
Where they would just like put a whole bunch of like kind of not great matches on before his match. So his match would just like, even if he just came through a little bit, it would just seem like it was so much better.
Yeah, it felt like, I felt like I watched about 3 matches of Coco Beware matches is what it felt like to me. I mean, this whole show is just weird. Okay, I don't know any other way to put it. But there were some matches that did happen on this card for Backlash that were traditional WWE tropes.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll go ahead and put it that way. Before we get into the quick results and everything, as you know, I've got to get into the pleasantries first so that everyone knows what we got to do. So if you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who all is in there? See, Mashoon. He calls me Dougamania, and he calls you King Tedesco. Is that fair?
Yeah, I like it. That's fine by me.
Yeah, you're a king now. There you go. I see CJ Nafisa Dot with his big fat wallet says, wee! I see Jamel. I see Mediocre Lewis. Not the man meat Lewis. I see regular Lewis. I see Gills. I see Jamma. I see Billy Hefner. I see Baby. I see Tiny Human. I see Daniel. I see Chad. I see Quentin. I see Tiny Human. That's Liliana, everybody. The princess of Wrestleview.
She wants to say, I'm just saying goodnight to her because she's a good little girl. Good night.
I see.
Good night to everybody. Good
night. Oh, God.
Lost the bank.
No, don't lose the bank.
The bank is most important.
Can't lose the bank. I see Sajida. Sajida is a new one in the chat room. All right. We got full chat room going on.
We're looking pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Got a full chat room going here. All right, Mikey, effervescent one, lay it down for us. Give us the quick results of the Backlash.
All right, let's do it. Something happened on the pre-show. Apollo Crews beat Andrade to retain the U.S. title. I didn't see it, I'm not going to lie. So I have nothing to say about that. Sasha Banks and Bayley defeated Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I guess they're calling themselves, I guess I'm really, really late to the party on this. Bliss Cross Applesauce or something like that. I never
knew that they really called themselves anything.
Yeah, but like I heard it a few times. I was like, is this a thing? I hope not.
I don't.
Anyway, the Iconics were in this match too. Sasha Banks and Bayley retain the Women's Tag Team Championship and all its prestige. Sheamus defeats Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
That happened. I've actually, the more we get away from this, I kind of forgot about that. Asuka and Nia Jax go to a double count out, so Asuka remains the Raw Women's Champion.
Oh, let's talk about tropes today.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman defeats the Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match to retain the WWE Universal Championship. Drew McIntyre defeats Bobby Lashley to retain the WWE Championship. The Viking Raiders and the Street Profits had a knockoff Bruce Lee movie. Something happened there.
They had something.
And I wasn't expecting it. And I'm not going to lie, I liked it a lot better than the Backlot Brawl from last week. I thought it was pretty freaking funny. I don't know. I'm just in one of those moods today. And in what could be the greatest wrestling match of all time, Doug.
Could be.
I love how they keep saying could be, kind of like, in case it's not, we never told you it actually would be.
Yeah.
Randy Orton defeats Edge with the punt. So, the punt. It's back.
El punt. It is 3rd and 21. We got no choice.
The match went about 50 minutes, maybe? Was that it?
I know it was darn near close to like 3/4 of an hour. It was darn near 40 to 45 minutes.
I'm trying to think like when they made their entrance. I think it was like 9:10 or 9:15. It ended around 9. It ended around 10 o'clock. Yeah, I think you're right. It could have been about 45 to 50 minutes. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
So they had to break out the punt. That's the only thing that was left that they could have done to each other.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of, okay, what other moves can Edge steal from anyone else to do? Okay. Yeah. What else can Randy Orton steal from anyone else to do? That's all I was thinking. In lieu of everyone in the chat room right now is the only reason we're here is because we will need to know how many shots of tequila Doug is taking. Okay. So yeah, 7 matches on the card. Were on the card that we were given Friday. Today showed up Street Profits versus Viking Raiders, and people on the Twitters and the Facebooks are going, Doug, what's your prediction? I didn't say a word. I wasn't going to say anything about this because usually when it's day of, I don't mention matches because I don't have time to predict them. Thank God I didn't say anything about that match. But no, of the 7 matches that were on the card that we knew about, we went once again a mediocre 4-3.
Oh.
Of those 3 losses, 2 of them were locks. We had the Iconics locked to become the women's tag team champions. I got no problem taking a shot for the Iconics. Okay, that's on me. It's much like how your wife Victoria would lock a match involving the Miz winning when you know darn well he isn't gonna win. Well, I'll take a shot for the Iconics. The other lock was Nia Jax becoming the Raw Women's Champion.
I think I saw you talk yourself out of that one.
I tried. I was back and forth. I was back and forth mentally, but then suddenly I was like, you know what? I want to troll the internet. And so, damn it, here's another one. This is just, I will take a shot if my dream doesn't come to fruition. I wanted Nia Jax to win the Waifu Destroyer. Nia Jax. How she destroyed Kairi Sane. And
might have to wait another month for that. I think we're going to get probably a Falls Count Anywhere match, last woman standing match at Extreme Rules or something like that.
Oh, God. Oh, you kidding me? Please give me that. Give me Kairi Sane off the television for a month, and then Asuka, Nia Jax at Extreme Rules, and out comes Kairi Sane with a lot of bamboo sticks. I had an umbrella. And whatever that steering wheel is to the ship that she doesn't sail on anymore. Whatever, just bring them all out. So we're doing...
That was the thing.
Yep, so 2 shots is what we're going to be taking on next week's episode of Wrestleview Weekly, which going to let everyone in. I'm currently working on a project and will probably be part of the show. Talked about it last Friday when it comes to SmackDown. We're going to talk about how old everyone is. Okay, and that's something we may talk about here on this show, and let's just get right into this. Let me see. I need to close things. I need to turn things off, and there we go.
Wow.
First off, all right.
Iconic. I'm iconic right there.
There we go. All right.
You're all night.
Every podcast is going to be asking this question: was this the greatest wrestling match ever? I'm going to tell you right now, we are not answering that question. We are not going to do that, okay? We are not every other show. And the way that we prove that is, for one, we aren't going to bitch about this show. Because the very first thing we do whenever we talk about pay-per-views is we try to find something positive. Something good to talk about this show, you know? So, I give it to you, effervescent Mike Tedesco. What is your one positive from this show?
My one positive is that true storytelling in the ring is not a completely dead art yet. There are still guys that are there, that are active on the roster, that, if called upon and if needed, could teach that art to the younger talent that feels that you need to have 10,000 dives and 1,000 flips and kick out after kick. I mean, this, don't get me wrong, this match had a ton of finisher kickouts.
Yeah.
And it kind of lived on it that last, that last half of the match. But that first half of the match, where it was just the storytelling of Orton having the advantage on Edge because he's been doing this for like 9 years longer, I've never seen an arm drag counter like that before, and I actually laughed out loud when I saw it.
You just dipped down and reared back up. It's like, whoop, nope, you didn't even get me.
No, and like nope. that was so funny. But just like the little the nuance, like the catch as catch can kind of stuff. It was just a clinic in storytelling. In this kind of weird artistic form that is wrestling. It's not just a trampoline act like we've seen on a million matches. And yes, some of those matches are great and they're spectacles and they take your breath away sometimes. But at the end of the match, you're like, I'm kind of quoting Randy Orton now, because he actually had a great quote from, I think, the Corey Graves podcast, where he was talking about, I watch these matches and yeah, they're great. I can't do this stuff. Like I made my living, telling stories with my face and, the pace of my matches and stuff like that. But I'll also be doing this until I'm 50 if I really wanted to, because I've taken care of myself and because I learned that aspect, and these people probably won't. It was storytelling at its finest, and it was really, really good. And I just wish that it just seems like it's such like a thing of yesteryear, but when they come in and do it, it just reminds you that it doesn't have to be just all flips, that there could be more to this. And I feel I really, it just gave me, it enlightened me, and it got me excited, because they're still active and they could really, really teach this form of wrestling to the younger guys. I got really cool. I thought it was really, really cool.
I'm definitely with you I've always been in the boat of, you can do way more storytelling when, for one, you're saying nothing and you're doing nothing, and all that's telling the story is just nonverbals. Just your facial expression, how your posture is. You're maybe throwing a punch, but how slow or how hard are you throwing that punch? You're going to be taking a bump. How are you going to take that bump? Are you going to take it flat back, or are you just going to slump to the side like you've been knocked out? There's so much nonverbal wise that you can tell in a wrestling ring, more than adding a somersault to anything, or adding a backflip to anything, or just uncorking a finisher, period. Okay? Way more that you can tell. There's one thing about Edge that has not gone away, that he has not lost, and he has no rust on for the 9 years that he's been gone from the ring, and that's his facial expressions. This guy has had them down since day one. And his 9 years out of the ring, he's been acting. He's been in front of a camera. So there ain't no rust there, okay?
Yeah, he's gotten better.
He's gotten way better. So we sit here and, gosh, when he's going to the top rope and he's on the apron, I'm cringing. I'm going, please don't resort to what everyone else in this desperate state would be doing. Nope. None of that from him. No risk taking at all, really, in this match. But yeah, you can learn and take away so much just from nonverbals than anything else.
I mean, you think about the matches that really truly are like, those, and of course it's a subjective thing, I mean, for somebody new to wrestling and they don't know much about it, tuning in and seeing this match, this could be the first truly great match they see. This could be the greatest wrestling match ever to somebody. To me, I've seen too much wrestling to ever truly say one is better than the other.
Oh God, right.
But I mean, like, when I think about the matches that are most memorable, I think of those, those WrestleMania matches with, like, the Undertaker and Triple H, Hell in a Cell, for example. You and I were there in person.
Right.
And yeah, granted, it was hard to see through the Hell in a Cell, but like when we were watching the video and just the facial expressions kept us hooked the entire time. And eventually, like, because they just, they don't abuse their moveset. They don't empty out their entire arsenal on every single show. So like these guys, there's an aura around these guys. They've been protected. They've been taken care of through the years. And obviously the streak was built incredibly by that point. But when they hit the super kick into the pedigree, like, you're just hooked. Like, you forget about the entire analytical thing and you just get pulled into it. I found myself getting pulled into it tonight as well, just because of the facial expressions. I just, I was recapping, I was typing, but it was like my eyes were typing what I was seeing, but I was in a different place mentally. I was in the zone with this match. I thought I'm really, really stunned at how well they pulled this off. And I think, that absolutely having the piped in crowd noise definitely helped as well.
Yes.
But they could have just done it with the kids in the crowd, cheering and making noise, and it still would have been an excellent match.
No, I'm glad we're calling him that. I have some thoughts about the kids in the crowd coming up here later in a little bit.
I have some thoughts too.
I'm pretty sure we're probably going to be in agreement with the thoughts, So a positive for me, and I'm going to try to get away from the greatest wrestling match ever, because we'll have more discussion about that. Cinematic matches are becoming the new thing that the WWE seems to be doing every pay-per-view. Every pay-per-view since WrestleMania, I believe. Or did they do it before that? No, they haven't.
No. The first one was the Boneyard match.
Okay. So ever since WrestleMania, every pay-per-view and one episode of NXT with Johnny Gargano and Tomato Chomper, their final match.
And the backlot brawl thing.
Yeah, backlot brawl thing, and we ended up getting a cup as a centerpiece on a table, which is just fantastic. We've had a cinematic match in every single WWE pay-per-view since WrestleMania. This is now becoming the new thing. Okay? We are now led to anticipate what will the next cinematic match be. And even though we were treated to impromptu, the Viking Raiders versus the Street Profits. It was just announced they were going to have a match for the Raw Tag Team titles. And I'm sitting there going, okay, sure, I'll take it. I'm sure this is going to be a nice little buffer match going into the main event or something like that. Or we might, whatever, sounds fine. We cue to them beating the crap out of each other in the parking lot, taking out Braun Strowman's windshield for the second time this week. But they're beating each other up, and I'm sitting there and I'm just going, these guys have been playing golf together. They have essentially been doing a fraternity rush for the past month, going to all of these events with each other. I thought these guys were friends. What's going on here? And now they're brandishing golf clubs versus a shield and a bowling ball and an actual axe. And I'm going, okay, what is happening here? I don't know what's happening, but I am saying it with a smile. What's going on here? Then they're still battling. They're beating each other up everywhere. Dawkins sends Ivar through a plate glass window back into the offices of the PC, which woke my ass up. And then the other two just peer around the corner. Dude, what are we doing? This is getting way too nuts. And I'm going, you're telling me what's going on here? So the four of them, then suddenly Akira Tozawa shows up, and with his ninjas on ninjas, because those are ninja motorcycles that they were on, ninjas on ninjas. First off, number one, Akira Tozawa off the milk carton. We haven't seen him since his match with El Hijo del Fantasma on an episode of NXT to see who would go off to face off for the Little Critter Interim Championship. There you go. But ninjas showing up. Akira Tozawa in subtitles. Very large black ninja. I'm scared already.
I thought it was Shaquille O'Neal. I was like, who's this? I really thought it was going to be Shaq.
I looked at the figure. Okay, it's not Titus O'Neil. I don't know who it was. I was thinking that's not Babatunde. I don't think it is.
Well, at first, I really my first real thought was the ninja kind of had a gut, and I was like, is it Devon Dudley?
But Devon Dudley only is like 5'11".
That's true, but I mean, with the camera angle, you can kind of make him seem like he's taller.
And it's Akira Tozawa too. I mean, he's like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah,
he's shorter than you.
Yes, quite.
Yeah. That was not a knock on you. That's just fact. He's shorter than me too. Yeah. Then they end up in a garbage bin, all four of these guys, and the tail of an alligator is whipping them back and forth. I am sure all over Twitterverse there were some angry people just going, WTF. You know, what the hell was this? Me too. I'm sitting there going, what the hell just happened? What did I see? But at the same time, I'm going, if we are to anticipate a cinematic match in every single WWE pay-per-view, and that's the low bar for the cinematic match, I got no problem with this. Okay, if that's the low bar, I will take that low bar, because that was fun.
That wasn't my low bar even close. I thought it was stupid fun. It was so unexpected.
Way out of left field. Okay.
And the question you have to ask yourself is, yes, the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits could probably have a great match, but we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Can we take a break and see something else? I mean, I was like, wow. I didn't actually think it was something that I needed to see, but it turns out it was something that I really actually needed in my life. I really needed that Bruce Lee knockoff, the jumping up and the touching the rings and the I got a real kick out of it, and like it's not something that's generally up my alley. It's really not my style usually, but I was like, you know what? I'm laughing. I can't. It's pandemic. I'm still not technically under house arrest anymore, but gotta have fun. It's June. School's coming to an end. I gotta have fun.
Yeah, if this is the closest the WWE can get to AEW's Stadium Stampede match from Double or Nothing, that's fine. Okay? I'm not making comparisons at all, but the reasons behind them are the same. Okay? We need a break. We need to have some stupid fun. And if you're questioning that, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay?
Yeah.
CJ brings it up in the chat room. It's a quote of mine. Well, fuck your shit. Fun things are fun. Okay? Yep. So.
And also, I mean, on the flip side, the cinematic matches also give you, and granted, now they have people in the crowd making noise, which definitely helps things a bit.
Yeah.
But it still breaks you up from the monotony of just seeing this semi-empty gymnasium that they're in.
Yeah.
And kind of gives you just a breather, cleanse the palate, refresh yourself, and then you can get back into it.
Yeah. And they had music in the background too. Throughout this entire thing, they made it, very cinematic, theatrical, bombastic, It was good.
It was definitely you could definitely tell there were some rough edits in there, and I'm almost thinking because they announced the match today. I'm almost wondering if it's you know what, let's do something fun, because a couple of the shots, it was you can clearly see that the sky is still blue, and then the next shot, it's nighttime. They were all over the place on this. Just probably as they're going, they're just coming up with stupid idea after stupid idea, and let's just see what happens and splice it all together and make it something watchable. It was something else. It was weird, but it was like a lot of like it felt like a lot of like their own personal touches in this, coming to fruition. So I just enjoyed it. It was stupid fun.
It was full of, how do I put it, like it seemed like it was an episode of Family Guy where they try to shoehorn in that one gag that they thought was really a good idea.
It was Peter versus the chicken.
Yeah, it was Peter versus the chicken, this match, okay? This whole match was, because we got the scenes of Ivar using the Force to summon a turkey leg. We got also Ivar bowling a bowling ball into Montez Ford's nuts. We had the tackle of, Dawkins into Ivar into the plate glass window. We had so many little gags here and there, and of course the dream sequences of Ivar. The
dream sequences were hilarious, and Jamel Watson, of course, bringing up that they referenced the Chappelle Show. Rick James, bitch. What did the five fingers say to the face? Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
Just 2004 is back.
I'm sorry. The one thing with these two, this program that the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits have had for the past month and a half, and they've been having these anything you can do, I can do better things. I think it was last episode of Monday Night Raw. They got the two teams in the ring, and there's Samoa Joe, and who else was with her? Was Charlie Caruso with him or something? Yeah. I don't know. Something like that. And he makes the Samoa Joe makes the announcement of, we're going to settle this the best way that we know how here on Monday Night Raw. And I'm going, okay, we're going to have a match. He goes, decathlon. I'm going, how much did it pain Samoa Joe to say this? And how much did it pain everyone who's a normal viewer of professional wrestling to hear that the way that we're going to solve your differences, you two teams, is not with physical combat that we are praying for and hoping for and would be the same as always, but instead is going to be a cinematic segment where you guys are doing all of these gag reel stuff that we just got in mind that you guys are going to do. And it's fun. It was fun. I didn't care. Okay, I really did not care. The program involving all these guys, if they keep it going, I don't care. The problem is, I think we'll all just forget who the tag team champions are and forget that there are other tag teams on Monday Night Raw. There aren't any other tag teams on Monday Night Raw. So,
and tag team titles mean just as much as they have in years past.
Yes.
Not that much at all.
The argument has been going on for 25 years, okay? Stop it.
Well, I mean they did a good job in the early 2000s with the tag teams, but after that it was like, oh boy, not that good.
No.
But I will say this, I think this is one of the best utilizations of the tag team champions in quite some time.
Oh yeah.
The Street Profits are just dripping with just charisma, and I've talked about that before. Obviously I talk about it on Post Raw a lot with Victoria, but on Post Raw I also mentioned just how good the Viking Raiders are now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know everybody there was just collective outrage, and it's like, oh well, they're getting the storyline that the Revival were supposed to have, and this is just they don't give a shit about tag teams and this and that, but. And I said the same thing about the Revival, when they were doing the shaving the back thing. I was like, it was just garbage, writing. It wasn't funny or anything. It wasn't my humor, at least. And it felt like an attempt to embarrass. But this, it's given this team brand new life.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're more than just the War Raiders or whatever from the indies. Like these guys that just go out and just have matches and do fat guy flips all the time. It's like that now they have another side that could carry their career even longer than just getting burned out on these matches. Like, once you've seen a couple of Viking Raider, giant
look,
slam the shit out of your opponent matches, you've seen them all.
Yeah, look,
but now they have a little something extra to offer to the table.
I'm tired of Ivar cartwheeling. I am tired.
I'm tired of the sit out senton, and
I'm tired of Eric carrying Ivar to the opposite corner.
Yes.
I am tired of Eric kneeing someone in the face and screaming at them. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm tired of them really not having a purpose. It's like, okay, The Viking thing is that's got a shelf life, but now that they have like this like kind of campy gimmick, it's like, like I'm sure Santino Marella, when he started out, like they treated him as if he was a serious wrestler, and then he morphed into a comedic character, and he's
one of the best comedic characters the WWE has ever had. Yeah.
Of all time, I think that they've ever had, and Drake Maverick and R-Truth are like, when they were doing the 24/7 stuff, they were rivaling what Santino was doing, but the like longevity of Santino, that's the thing that might not ever be touched in terms of a comedic character. But he turned out to be, in a weird way, like a WWE legend, and it gave his career way more life than being the jiu-jitsu Santino Marella would have given him. So kudos to the Viking Raiders for not shitting all over it, embracing it, and having some fun with it. This is a triumph for them as much as anybody else.
You're a professional wrestler. You're not supposed to have any dignity in the first place. Come on. That was my problem with the Revival from the start, okay? They were already trying to sell to a different crowd via the internet and everything. So they're trying to make it look like their dignity was worth more than the paycheck, And so they're somewhere now where they can be like that, and that's great. That more power to them. This was not the place for them, and that's fine. I'm glad that the Viking Raiders have found something more to do. And the great thing about it is with the most minimal of effort at all. All they had to do was smile. That's it. That's all they had to do was smile. That's it. They didn't have to furrow their brow. They didn't have to do a different posture. They just had to smile. And it's done. That's it.
And I gotta say, Ivar is definitely, he must be a Chris Farley fan, because there's a couple times when he, like, especially when they say, "Oh, you're cute," and he has that, like, he puts on that like Chris Farley face. I see a lot of Farley in him with his mannerisms. God,
guys, just embrace it. Just embrace it.
He's got something.
Is he the next Otis?
I don't know if he's the next Otis, but I think Otis is definitely an anomaly. But
I was about to say, so let Otis be Otis.
Yeah, let Otis be Otis.
Okay.
But let Ivar be Ivar, and let's see what the hell happens.
Yeah. Don't split them up, though, or anything like that. We aren't going that far, We're no. All that I'm really asking for is, once we return to normalcy, when Spiky Nerf Ball is maybe not gone, but kind of subsided a little bit, and we can have gatherings and stuff. Why I never saw the Viking Raiders at a Renfest on a weekly basis is beyond me. Okay? It is something they missed the ball on. That is something they should be doing every week. Every town they go to, you call up the Renfest and you do something. Okay? I got to see these guys doing Renfest segments every week. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like the old Sparky Plug Holly segments, where he actually was racing friggin' cars for a while. He actually was involved in that circuit. Get them involved in the Ren Fair circuit. I think that'd be a great thing.
Yeah. And while I had and have Street Profits at a block party or something. That's easy to do. So yeah. No problem.
Or have them go out in the parking lot and just start up like, Street Profits tailgate or something like that.
Just have them. They're just having a barbecue. Yeah, they're tailgating and everything, but they're gatekeeping the people who are allowed in.
Right.
And that starts your next program. Okay. Exactly. It's because yes, this team is fighting Street Profits because they weren't allowed in the barbecue. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So now that we've booked Raw tag teams for the next month, year and a half, let's go on over through the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's talk about some major titles here. Drew McIntyre versus Bob Lashley.
Ooh, man, there was a scary moment in this match.
There were some, not this one, but
I like. There's not a lot of times that this happens to me, but when Bobby Lashley picked Drew McIntyre up, and I get it, like they're both sweating, and probably, he's probably wearing baby oil, and Drew just slid right off his shoulders, and he tucked his head right at the last second. I actually let out a gasp. I was like, gave one of those type deals because I was like, oh my God, he just fucking spiked him on his head.
Yep.
And then like I didn't look, and I had to rewind, and I saw that he tucked his chin like right at the last second. Like, dude, that guy just avoided major disaster right there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That was rough to see him. Just got him in the fireman's carry, and I saw him. He was losing his balance. I'm like, oh, no. Don't you do it. And sure enough, he tucked his head. But Drew selling it like a champ.
He did a great job.
Selling it like a champ throughout that entire match, and then they reattempted the spot, and they got the spot where he's supposed to shove him into the ring post. But used it to their advantage, ad-libbing it, and Drew working his neck and everything.
Right, because a lot of guys might have just gotten up and just tried again, rather than just taking a second, like, oh, let me sell that for a second.
Yeah. Let me see. It was a fine match. It was a basic. Seriously, if it wasn't a title match, you would think it was an episode of Monday Night Raw, and we'll say that about a lot of matches that were on this card.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay,
that's a fair assessment.
But this, MVP over at the ringside, Lana would come out and interfere, and then get the Rusev treatment of Bobo pushing her off the ring apron and then losing the match, getting distracted. But this
is the best I've seen Bobby Lashley since they brought him back. He was great in this. He looked like a monster. He had McIntyre in his heels the whole time, even though they have the gimmick where McIntyre kicks out at 1. Bobby Lashley looked like a force, and it's like I'm excited to see this again.
I was about to say, do you think this is resolved? Do you think this is going to carry on?
I think the Lana thing kind of makes it that it's not resolved yet. I think with Drew McIntyre being pushed the way he is, he has to get decisive victories, and no story can end without him getting that decisive victory until it's time for him to lose.
Right.
With the Lana distraction or whatever, it's not decisive. I think that gives them an out to kind of do this one more time.
Sure. Extreme Rules sounds fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What kind of stip would you give this?
Probably a cage match or something like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, keep all the riffraff out.
Keep all the riffraff out, or Lana suspended above the ring. And
Lana in a shark cage? I'm for it.
Then you can do a cinematic match and
Lana tossing high heels out of the cage? Yes. I want to see her bring shoe boxes to the shark cage. Yes.
If we're gonna do cinematic matches, maybe you actually put her in a shark cage, put her in a scuba suit, and if Drew McIntyre wins, they just weld the chains and she falls into the abyss, and that's how they end it.
There we go.
That's just because you can die in the cinematic matches and come right back. It's totally fine. You can get thrown off the roof of the WWE headquarters, and you're back the next day.
Ask AJ Styles; he's fine. Hell, he was buried in mountains of dirt. Everyone was buried in mountains of dirt and came back. It's okay. It's okay.
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling. I'm really interested in trying to book Extreme Rules now because of the matches that we had on the show. Let us talk about women. Let's talk about the Raw Women's title, Nia Jax versus Asuka, and once again, WWE pay-per-view tropes. It happens all the time. They give us a title match, and it ends in a disqualification or a double count out, something like that. Internet goes bonkers. It seems that I think it happens like almost once every third pay-per-view. It feels like. I'm not trying to say it happens too often, and I'm not going to sit here going like, "Oh, they gotta finish my match. I got to see someone win the title." No, I'm not.
They do it a lot on television, that's for sure.
They do it a hell of a lot on television. That's for sure. But I guess, let me see. We figured that this was going to carry on. Asuka Nia Jax is going to carry on. Extreme Rules, and I just love the thought of Kairi Sane coming out with sticks and umbrellas and going to town.
I think that's the way to go. 100%.
Oh yeah. I guess my question here is those three, Asuka, Nia Jax, even Kairi Sane in the periphery. What is going to be happening with the Raw Women's division in, say, when SummerSlam arrives? Because for the past 2 months, all that we have had as far as women's wrestling goes on Raw is Charlotte. That's about it.
And that's about what you're going to get.
Yeah. Because right now on my WWE milk carton of people who have not been on television or pay-per-view for at least 3 weeks, after tomorrow, if they don't show up, 5 women on the Raw women's roster will be on the milk carton.
Yeah, they gave up on those Liv Morgan Finding Myself vignettes. Thank God.
They gave up on that. They
Natalya, the temper tantrum Natalia's gone. Like, what's going on?
Angry Shayna Baszler is nowhere to be found.
Shayna Baszler. Yeah, absolutely.
Bianca Belair debuted, and that's it.
What a shame. Yeah, that one's negligible to me.
Whoopi Wyatt was used to build Charlotte.
How can you build off of something that has no foundation?
Right.
I never understood Ruby Riott on the main roster. What was her purpose?
Right.
What she brought to the table, or even what her character is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is just a piece of clay in the ring. It's like, what are we doing here? Give me something here. Show me some kind of form that I can recognize as like, okay, well I guess that's the whole purpose of that person right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not even touching on SmackDown. It's kind of over on SmackDown side. Naomi and Dana Brooke are on the milk carton, and the last time they were on television, they had a match against each other. That shows you how bad that was. Okay, so right now, I know that people are clamoring for another Evolution pay-per-view, and don't get me wrong, I would love another Evolution pay-per-view.
Me too.
I definitely would love one. Hell, I'll say it again. 2 years ago, that was the best pay-per-view of the whole year. It was better than WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, all of them. It was the best one.
I was there live.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. We were there at All Out. I mean, I'm sorry, All In.
Yeah, All In.
And
yeah.
The buzz in the Sears Center was something else. I mean, it really was like one of those like special crowds, one of the more special crowds that I've ever been a part of. There's that Raw after WrestleMania 29 that was, it's something special where they did the Fandango thing.
Yeah.
All In was great, but I've never been in a crowd that was so excited for every single thing like I was for Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
But in order to have Evolution, there was a lot of stuff that was built there. Like they had the legends coming with Trish and Lita. They had the incredible star power of Ronda Rousey to carry the entire thing. And they had the Bella Twins being the flag bearers of the former Diva division. Mm-hmm. Like there was so many just like stories that were written so well. They don't have that right now. They don't have even close to that. There's and now that Becky Lynch is having the baby, for the women, other than Charlotte Flair, there's no star power whatsoever.
Yeah, and I don't. And of course, we make the case that it's because Wanda Rousey's not there. No, it's not just one person. It's a
mix.
It is a mixture of everyone. Okay.
The Bella Twins not being there is a big loss.
That's a really big loss. Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. When the Bella Twins were announced as being in the Hall of Fame, I was like, that's very deserving. They got their role, and they improved through the years. I thought they were a great act by the end when it was all said and done. They were great.
Yeah. I guess my thing is, of everything that I'm concerned with when it comes to the main roster and moving forward with the WWE and whatever Spiky Nerfball has planned for us, my number one concern with the WWE right now is my women's wrestling. It's looking really sketchy right now. Okay, very sketchy. I don't even want to talk about NXT. Ooh, it's going to be rough. Everywhere it's going to be rough.
They have a little more talent than I think on the main roster, though. There's definitely some gems that need to be polished off, but like Bianca Belair should still be down there. If you don't call somebody like that up and then just stop her immediately,
right?
She could be something. She could be the next Becky Lynch.
Yes.
She's that good. She's a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal character. why would you call her up and then not and then for 2 weeks and then not use her ever again? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's why I'm really curious on how when Pritchard takes over with Raw, as he was with SmackDown, Bruce Pritchard being the head of executive creative director. Is that the right stance? Is that the right position?
As far as I know, his title is just he's just the head of the creative team.
Okay,
that's as far as I know. He was the executive director. Now he's just head of creative.
Okay, head of creative here. I'm curious to see. It's gonna take 2 months for us to see the gears turning.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, no question about it. It's gonna be like it's gonna be last year where I don't think we're gonna know how everything's going until after SummerSlam when we start seeing these storylines. You know, the storylines from the previous regime finish up, and the new storylines kind of trickle in.
Yeah.
My question is though, have we even seen? I mean, I don't follow the main event spoilers. I don't really know many people that do. I don't even think Bianca Belair has wrestled on main event.
No, she hasn't.
It's like
she has done nothing.
Is there a health issue here? Is she injured? Is she pregnant? Maybe like what is going on? Like I just in my mind I can't wrap my head around not using her.
The only activity that I have seen from her in particular throughout the social media is she's knitting her husband's ring gear.
Yes.
And that's it. And that's it. Okay. That's about it. So I don't know what's going on, you know. Speaking of other programs that might be ending or we're glad that ended, Sheamus and Jeff Hardy.
You know, I might be in the minority here. I didn't hate this match.
Right.
I thought it was physical. I like a nice physical match. I thought Jeff Hardy did a hell of a good job here. I mean, another guy telling a story in the ring, and you know his, you know the wiliness of his veteran character. You know, finding a way to get out of, you know, avoid Sheamus's moves. You know, catching the ropes when he needs to you know to get out of the submission, and even when he got hit with that brogue kick, he couldn't. He was so weak from being hit that he couldn't kick out, but you could see him kind of trying to move his arm toward the bottom rope just to try to get a rope break, and he just couldn't make it. I thought there was some good storytelling here. I thought it went a little too long. And Sheamus doesn't really translate well to these COVID crowds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me see. First off, like when it comes to the angle that they were doing and everyone was saying it was in really poor taste, I don't really care. You know,
got people talking, and that's
you got attention to the match, and that's what you were supposed to do.
And that's something that hasn't really happened during this entire pandemic. Has there been a buzz about wrestling at all, Doug?
No, not the only buzz. The only buzz about wrestling is people realizing that wrestling is still on television, and people are asking how.
I swear to God, I had somebody tell me that today that they tuned in and saw that I was talking to somebody today. And he's like I was flipping through the channels on Friday night, and I saw there was like this big fat guy named Odie or something like that, and he was just he was hilarious. And they go, I can't believe that they still do that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they do it. It's still around. Don't worry. I forget where I was going with it, but it gets a buzz going. Like you know, like you know, other than WrestleMania, like there's been nothing to talk about. And sometimes, you know, even like something controversial, if it gets people talking, it's good. I can tell you I recapped that SmackDown where they did the DUI thing. And that was easily in terms of site hits, that SmackDown had the most curiosity of any SmackDown in months.
Oh yeah.
And that to me is like something worked.
Yeah. If everyone's talking about it, it worked. You know, that's all there is to say about that. When it comes to this match, there's something about everyone knows I've got opinions about Jeff Hardy.
Sure.
But my opinions of Jeff Hardy are outside of the ring. Okay? So please do not be shocked by my commentary about what he is like in the ring. In the ring, he's fine. Okay? I'm trying to think of a really good analogy. You know, now that Dolph Ziggler isn't being so flopperific, we got Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is this way. He is a fish out of water. Okay? When he gets hit, he just flops. He just flails down. Okay, it is not the good old Dolph Ziggler using his long hair to his advantage and jerking it back the whole time. This is Jeff Hardy using his entire body goes limp and just flails down, you know? And it's great, and it works with him because of not just his look, but just his structure, just how small the guy is. Everyone who is under 6 foot and weighs 205 soaking wet should be selling like Jeff Hardy. Period. That's it. And even like you were talking about him trying to grab for the rope to try to end the match was just, I can't do a chef's kiss, but damn, that was good. Okay,
it was a nice touch. It's like yeah, it's like when you like watch a Ric Flair match like in the 80s, and it's like, you know, when he was at the top of his game, it's like you there's something different in that performance that's not there with others, and it's like you could like and I don't know if like Jeff Hardy would be considered like a great wrestler, you know, in another time period, but like, you know, where this, like we were talking about before, where the storytelling in the ring is dramatically down.
Yeah.
You know, now it's just shock and awe.
Mm.
So when there's even the slightest hint of a story being told, regardless of the skill of the performer or, you know, how good they are as a pro wrestler, if there's just even a little hint of something, you're like, oh my God, that was a really nice touch. It's like, meanwhile, that should be happening in so many matches.
Yeah. Why only this one? You know?
Right.
But now I think it's now time to bring up the discussion here, because I think Sheamus has the nice gif on the WWE winking his eye a little bit and trying to listen to the crowd. Let's talk about the kids, the COVID kids in the crowd. Okay. They started doing this 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, something like that.
It was the Memorial Day one, yeah.
Yeah, it was on the heels of AEW's Double or Nothing.
Yep.
I remember that.
May 25th was the first Raw.
May 25th. They started putting either NXT students or actually actual NXT names in the crowd to cheer and stuff. Okay, and they are all cleverly placed 6 feet apart from each other, not moving, staying in their spot and cheering and stuff. And throughout the show, the chants were incredibly random.
Ugh.
The rhythms were incredibly random. Why are we cheering for Nia Jax? What has she done to encourage anyone to want to cheer for her? Isn't she the heel? Why are people cheering for Sheamus? He's the heel. He framed Jeff Hardy. Why is everyone cheering for everyone? It's because they're all from NXT.
I agree. I partly think that some of what they do is just like, we're going to fucking, you know, rip on every single mark crowd that there is. You know, like Sheamus and Jeff Hardy got a fight forever chant.
Yeah.
WWE's or one of the matches, it might have been the WWE title match, but no matter what, they were chanting fight forever. WWE's paid personnel where they're chanting fight forever and this is awesome and all this stuff. It's like, and you know, you're watching it, you're like, I don't know, but it's almost like they're ripping on every single crowd that they've ever seen. So it's like, you know, like the crowds will just turn on the face and cheer the heels and stuff like that. Like, to me, it just feels like they're just saying like, yeah, see, we get it, you guys are fucking losers. You know, it's not great when, you know, you're not there and all this stupid shit's happening and you're sitting at home, you're like, why would they do that? And then when you're there, you're like, oh, of course I'm going to cheer the heel. I really think they're ripping on them.
I try not to think like that. You know, I try not to, though it's hard not to. I guess my thing is I have 2 modes when I'm seeing what is the moniker we're going to call them? I mean, what are we going to call them?
The COVID kids.
The COVID kids. Okay, these are the COVID kids, okay? I've got 2 lines that I'm towing with them. First off, one of them is I want to fantasy book these kids, but I'll tell you how I would do that. But the first one, okay? Let me see. You are paid, you're paid to be in this crowd and just be enthusiastic. That's it. Just be enthusiastic. Okay? Whether you have to do it through the entirety of a match or not, I don't know. I don't know what they're telling you to do, but they're telling you to be enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to chant. You don't even have to say words. Just make a noise of any kind. So, and usually the sounds you're supposed to make are vowel sounds. E, I, O, U. That's all you gotta make. If you throw in a macron N of then fine. Do that. That's all you're supposed to do. You don't need to put words in there. Make your job as simple as possible. You're making 5 figures to stand there and be enthusiastic. Don't make it any harder than it really is. Okay.
Yeah, from what I understand, it is pretty freaking hard to have to stand there. I mean, on those days where they're doing 2 shows, you're standing for all those matches. Man, oh man, that's tough.
I worked retail. Okay?
That's true. I'll give you that. I've
worked
done retail myself.
I've been on my feet 12 hours straight.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I sold cars for a while. Oh man.
Been on my feet for a long time, and I can't bench press the bar. So seriously, they can do it. Okay.
Well, at least we can move our legs and get circulating. You know, like they have to stay stationary. And watch some of this product. It's tough.
Kind of can be. Yeah. But the second mode that I go into is okay. All right, so you want to use words. Okay, you guys want to be individualistic. You know, you want to be like the crowds at NXT and have your chants and everything. When you and I went to WrestleMania, we went to WrestleMania Access.
Yeah.
Okay. And we were there. Daniel Bryan was facing this guy Sheamus here in the GIF for the then world title. And they were interviewing Daniel Bryan in a ring with Scott Stamford. And across the way, I think it was not but maybe 50 feet away, Sheamus was having his autograph line. And they ended up handing Sheamus a microphone. Okay. And Sheamus got on a microphone and said something, I'm sure, that was very witty and very funny or something like that. And everyone was chanting for Sheamus over there. Daniel Bryan, just in retort, just says, Sheamus is stupid. And we all just started chanting, stupid, stupid. It's simple.
Yep.
It's simple. That's all you can be, okay? Just be simple. That's all you gotta be. And what makes it even better is when it's incredibly impromptu. If it is silent in there and nothing's happening and the people in the ring are performing and they aren't saying a word and it is dead silent, I should hear someone out in the crowd just yelling, Nia Jax is a jerk! It should bellow out throughout the arena. And that gets everyone's attention. And Nia just flips out and starts yelling at him, but then gets rolled up or something like that. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, they definitely could be doing a lot more. And, you know, I hate to do it, but it's hard, you know, when there's only 2 big things going right now. You know, like, this is something that, you know, AEW, they definitely have a lot of holes in their game. There's no question about it. But what they do right, what they've done right from the get-go is people in the crowd and making noise and getting reactions. And it's mostly their established stars in there, and they're kind of doing their own thing. You know, if they're heels, they cheer the heels and stuff like that. But at least it's they're making noise, and it's different than just like, okay, everybody, here's the applause sign. Oh, ha 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 ha. Okay, now boo boo. It's like it feels a little more authentic than the usual, like whatever this is.
Yeah, whatever they're forced to try to chant. You know, it is incredibly forced, and they're even trying to start their own stuff and failing miserably.
Yeah, I know, and then they're 6 feet apart, but they're still pretty close. Where it's like, oh god, like that went over like a wet fart. Like,
then just stop. You know, don't have to carry it on for another 5 stanzas.
Right. So it's almost like, oh, I'm going to get noticed, and this is going to be my big break if I get this one chant started. Stop trying so hard. Just go there and clap and shut up. Like,
you know who showed up on camera probably the most of all the COVID kids there and was actually doing their job right? Was Xia Li. Xia Li.
Was she there?
Yeah, she was there. She was there for I believe, like almost the final half of the pay-per-view. She was yelling and screaming like mad for everything. Okay, you heard her over everybody.
Here's a question though.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously, I Xia Li, you know, in terms of actually like being a ready performer is not even close to me. Not even close. But there are some in that crowd that they've thrown in there that are like, I don't know if it's a good thing to have those people in the crowd looking so much like a lesser, you know, talent, you know, when this is somebody that they might want to eventually move on. You know, it to me, like the visuals are just kind of like weird that some of the people that they've chosen, like they bring in the actual Performance Center trainees for the NXT shows.
Yeah.
The ones that have never been on TV, they have no name recognition whatsoever, or even if they did, they've since changed their names. Nobody would know who they are now.
Yeah.
It's why don't they just bring in the trainees even for Raw and SmackDown?
I got to tell you, let me see. Out in the crowd, I think, and this show and also on SmackDown, really shocked me because on Wednesday night's episode of NXT from previous week, Casey Catanzaro had a match against Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez in tow. This was Casey Catanzaro's best match I'd ever seen. They gave her some offense, and she rolled with it. She's a fantastic babyface in peril. Of course she did the match.
I love Casey Catanzaro, yeah.
She's fantastic. After the match, Gonzalez and Kai are beating her up. Out comes Caden Carter for the save. Who is out there in the crowd for SmackDown in this show? Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter together, embracing as if they're at an actual concert. Okay, this is beneath them. Okay, they should not be out there. All right.
How about Shotzi Blackheart, who's going to be challenging for the women's tag team titles on Wednesday?
Yeah.
We like there's somebody in the crowd that's going to be, I mean, yeah, it's a title, it's a prop, but like, you know, you want to.
But someone that's in a program on a television show.
I don't want to see anybody with green hair in the crowd when I'm watching wrestling, period. It's too damn distracting. Like, what the hell's going on here?
But they should just have trainees or, you know, the people they just signed to it, or hell, you know, people come to the Performance Center just to work out. Ask them if they want to be on TV.
Well, how about grab some of like the larger, like, you know, the fans that just come and just camp outside the Performance Center, you know, just to catch performers coming in. Take their temperatures, throw a couple of them in the crowd, whatever. Like, let's go. Yeah. Like, you know, like actually bring some people in. I think it's more than okay to start doing that. Other places have started doing that.
Yeah. And of course I know
they have the dasher boards up.
They got the boards up and everything. And I know that there's rumors that yes, they might start letting people back into professional wrestling events. Let's just be on the safe side. That's not going to be happening anytime soon.
I know, but it's like, God, it's like I'm so ready for it at this point. I'm so ready.
I am too. I'm ready for them to get back to touring. I need them.
Consequences.
Yeah, I need them to be somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
And if they can't afford the larger arenas, that's fine. You got to go back to the scratch that you started on. Go right ahead. Plenty of smaller arenas to choose from. Plenty of them. Okay.
Tons.
You'll sell them out quick.
Go back to every single old Monday Night Raw venue. They're still around.
Oh yeah.
like the ones where they take a bump on the floor, and as soon as the mat ends, you can see the basketball floor.
Yeah.
The boards are all right there. It's like, okay.
I can name you 3 arenas right here in Charlotte that all of the other federations have come to, and WWE has done too. They've come to the Grady Cole Center. It was when Ring of Honor came. I mean, I'm sorry, New Japan came to Charlotte, but it wasn't really New Japan. It was the American people because Japanese didn't have their passports. stuff. And also Concord. They go to the Cabarrus Fairgrounds. That's where TNA and Impact always show up. AEW is going over there. So, yeah, NXT's gone over there too. Yeah. So there are lots of smaller arenas that they can easily get to. They don't have to go to the large basketball arenas to start this.
No, yeah, it shouldn't be like, oh, Barclays Center or bust, like,
no.
Amway Center or bust. It's like, yeah, we can go back to Hammerstein or something like that. We can do a couple of little things and kind of keep everybody, 6 feet apart.
Hammerstein would actually
make more noise.
Hammerstein would be a great change of pace. I think that should be actually the next arena they go to. And if they've got to stay at the same arena for X amount of shows, that's a great one to go back to.
100%.
But who knows if and when that'll be happening? Because right now, this is what we got. We got people with no tempo and no rhythm and no coordination.
Now, Dougie, there's one last thing that we have to talk about, and it's this Universal Championship match. Which I have to talk quietly here because we have a misfit in the house.
Right.
But this was, to me, just shit.
I love right when you said that Miz and Morrison just outplayed their hands. Shit.
It was. I loved the music video. I thought it was pretty funny. Whatever. Fine. But in terms of actual just wrestling, and it was shit. It was just so bad.
It was horrible.
And it's really not Miz and Morrison's fault. It's more just like Braun Strowman is. Somebody said it on Twitter tonight, and that commented back to me, and I totally agree. It's like he's just being so exposed, as like not like what everybody thought. Like everybody wanted Braun to get the world title, but he's not world champion material. And I actually posed the question on Twitter tonight: would you rather have a part-time champion or this Braun Strowman reign? What's better?
Oh boy. First off, I have been on the Braun bandwagon for a long time.
Me too.
Okay. This should have happened 3 years ago.
When he was hot.
When he was molten lava hot. I mean, this was when he teamed up with the ref's son and over at WrestleMania to get the tag team championships. And
yeah, that was like one of those JR kissing your sister, events.
Yeah, it was at that time. That's when he should have been going for a world title of some kind. Okay, he was molten lava hot. Okay, and you couldn't touch him. He was fantastic. Now it's died off. It's subsided. That will never come back.
No, and they got lucky because in 2017 it was the same thing. He was hot around WrestleMania. He had that great series of matches with the Big Show where they broke the ring and all that stuff. And he wound up in the Andre Battle Royal and doesn't even win. That was like Mojo Rawley's to win. It's like what? Like they got lucky where Braun got hot twice around WrestleMania and would have been a suitable, maybe not a replacement, but an addition to the main event. Brock versus Roman versus Braun would have been a little better than just Brock versus Roman, which we've seen.
You've got intercontinental titles. You've got United States titles. One of those titles isn't going to have an actual match, or you just shoehorned a clusterfuck to do it. Throw the big man in there. There you go.
Right. Or you just for once, like this company needs to strike while the iron's hot. And even now it's like this whole entire reign started as a consolation prize because Roman, they had the twins and he doesn't want to be on the road or not on the road or just coming to the Performance Center when he has newborns at home, and he's gone on record and said just that. Yeah. It has nothing to do with his immune system. It has everything to do with two brand new twins. His second set of twins. That's quite a wow. He's super sperm there, but
yeah, really.
So Braun. So it's just like, oh well, Braun, like whatever. It just feels like it didn't have, like they announced it the day before WrestleMania was happening that he was going to be getting the title shot, and he wins the title, and then it's just like, okay, well, here's Braun as champion. Like, no thought, no momentum, nothing put into it. It's like, I would rather Goldberg have just fucking speared the shit out of him and come back at SummerSlam, and maybe things are calming down by then. I'd rather have a part-time champion than this, like, nothing of a title.
There's so much that's happening right now, and that has been happening for the past nearly 4 months, that you always have to ask, would it be like this if we were actually touring?
No.
I mean,
no.
Roman would it be like
now.
No, but I mean, like, given the situations that we're in, okay?
Right.
Braun as the situations that we're in, but in front of live audiences and getting the live audience interaction, okay? That's why it's so hard for me to see the reflexive booking that they're doing and trying to put it in a vacuum. It's really difficult to do, because I keep trying to tell myself, well, they've got a plan. They always have a plan. They got the freaking whiteboard. They know what they're going to do eons in advance. Don't believe me? We just talked about how Braun Strowman was molten lava hot, and they never took advantage of it. It's because they had plans, and they didn't want to deviate from them. They did not want another Daniel Bryan problem. Okay.
Well, they have WrestleMania plans. I think for the rest of the year they kind of book, week to week. It's we saw that a lot last year from like May till July. It was like 2 months of just like, what are we doing here? Wild card, 24/7 title. I don't know. Brock Lesnar's gonna cash in every week. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, yes, this match sucked.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yes, this match sucked. Okay, there's no other great analysis that we can give you for this match. Regardless of how much Miz and Morrison were jumping up and down on the ropes, I don't care. This match sucked.
Roman, the COVID does not like the heat. It's going away. Come back, please.
Roman, you've got 4 kids. Don't you want to get away?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I get that mowing the lawn is the refuge for the father, but you've got a really big yard that you can go to that needs real tending to right now. Okay? Buddy, come on. Come back to your yard, okay? It's got weeds everywhere. It looks like shit. There's some critter out there that's been carrying this title around and doesn't know what to do with it. Okay? Except for the big snail over there with the briefcase. Don't touch him. He's okay.
Yeah. Leave him alone.
Leave the lawn ornament alone. Okay, we worked on that one.
Otis, something, anything. I'll take anything at this point. Please.
Yeah, we worked on Otis.
I do have to say that the prank segments with Miz and Morrison on him, that was good fun.
Yeah,
but I'm over. I was over Braun Strowman when I saw that Bray Wyatt match last month, and now I'm really over it now.
Oh yeah.
Move on. And I thought Bray was gonna at least be making an appearance in this match. So that
I really thought so too.
That just made it even more disappointing. I get why Bray's probably not coming around right now. They just had a baby as well, and it's like, let's just kind of hold off.
There's a lot of, I can see the headlines on so many other professional wrestling news sites. This is what was supposed to happen.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's everywhere. It happens every week. This is what was supposed to happen. If only people did not want to multiply, this is what was supposed to happen. If we didn't have spiky Nerf ball, this is what was supposed to happen. If the revival was still in the WWE, this is what was supposed to happen. I'm tired of it. And honestly, it's hard right now to effectively, for a prognosticator and a purveyor of fantasy booking like myself, to try to wrap your head around what the heck's going on right now. It's hard to actually think that they have the plans set for WrestleMania. I don't think they have their plans set for WrestleMania.
They absolutely do not.
There is nothing going on right now.
I don't even think I'll say it right now. I'll call it. I'll lock it. I'll do a fucking shot of tequila. I don't think they're having WrestleMania at Levi Stadium next year.
Oh,
I don't see it.
No. I'm counting on that. I'm counting on 2-day WrestleManias from here on out.
Oh God, Doug.
Yeah.
I would be so happy.
I am counting on 2-day WrestleManias from here on out, and they'll culminate into actually being like the big weekends, okay? It'll be in the same arena. You'll have night 1, then you'll have night 2, then Raw happens on the Monday after that, then Friday Night SmackDown happens somewhere else that's close by, is what I see happening. And it's actually more advantageous for the WWE financially to do that. Yes, you're not going to
100%.
Yes, you're not going to have the big stadium crowds and the big optics and everything, but think about the people who aren't there that might be subscribing to your network, even though you've got it for free now. We know you're going to be charging something because you don't want people to watch the commercials. You know that's going to be happening, okay? So you want to get those eyeballs? There you go. That's how you do that. But
absolutely. Oh, by the way, it's SoFi. I called it Levi. Jamel put SoFi. I was like,
SoFi. Oh, it's SoFi State. Oh, yeah, that's right. Levi's is the San Francisco treat. That's right.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Bray Wyatt not being there was definitely a bummer. You know, I mean, I'm just thinking for myself as a parent. You know, like having I'm so lucky that we just missed this pandemic when we had Liliana. But
I'm sure.
I would if I had to go back to work, I wouldn't want to go back to work. I would just say that.
I'll tell you what right now. Let's talk about the people that weren't on this show. Okay, of the names that were not on this show, what is the Bray Wyatt's the one that surprises you the most?
That I would say so. Yeah, I really thought at the very least that they would at least have some graphics or some video cut-ins or some tricks or whatever. Even if he wasn't there, just do something to kind of say like, "Hey, Braun, I'm still here. I'm still watching." By the way,
yes.
Whatever happened to that hacker?
If the hacker were on the main roster, he would be on the milk carton because he hasn't been on television in 3 weeks.
Yeah, where the hell's that been?
I think it's because it was Mustafa Ali, but then bad things happened on the planet, and so he started doing interviews because he's a former police officer.
Yeah. So
that's why we've got the kibosh on that, is why I'm thinking. So
that's a guy, now that is the prognosticator, this is how it should happen. But this is one that I like. This is a headline that I like.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If it's wrong, that's fine. Okay. But it sounds logical. Okay.
It does. It does. Just like, that's why I brought the Bray Wyatt baby thing. I was like, it just makes sense to me as a parent. I'm like, I would, if I was told I had to go back to work in this climate and I had a choice, my choice would be, I want to park my butt right on this couch and I ain't moving.
Yeah. So Bray Wyatt, you're kind of disappointed didn't show up.
Yeah.
I will put someone in that same slot that could have been a run-in on that Braun Strowman, Miz and Morrison match, but was there, could have shown up, and could further a program to go for the next 3 months. Baron Corbin.
Oh, yeah, God.
Why wasn't Baron Corbin at this show? Just to be an asshole. That's it. Just to be an asshole. Okay? For him to remind everyone that he's an asshole. Why?
Because his star power at this point, and I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not being a bullshit artist or blowing smoke. I think he's really he's found it. He's found it now.
Oh,
he didn't have it on Raw in 2018, but he found it now. Mm-hmm. He has it, and even just in a throwaway segment, might be better than half of the stuff on the show. Tonight.
Got Baron Corbin found it.
He might overshadow. He might overshadow some things.
For one thing, right now he is the best heel on the entire roster. Period. Better than Bray Wyatt. Sorry, just leaps and bounds better than Bray Wyatt. Okay?
Twitter game is extremely strong as well.
He's like
the Wendy's of WWE. He's very good.
I love his Twitter feed. He trolls the trolls by just showing their profile picture, and the other stuff that he does, he grills meat That's
yes,
it.
Yes.
That's all he does. And that's all I would expect.
I'm very jealous of the skills. He's pretty fucking good.
Now the one thing is, like, he's sitting there. I could go over. I watched a video of him. I've got this porterhouse that's been aged for 90 days and everything. So like, wow, 90 days. I've had 32-day dry aged porterhouse, and those look like 40-ounce cuts, and the biggest I've had is a 36-ounce cut. But I'm sitting there. This is how I am when I watch his Twitter feed. I am sitting there analyzing his grilling game and his meat game. But that's not why I'm judging him. He's just a great character on television. Yeah. Okay? He is the best heel on that roster. Seth Rollins needs to take notes.
Oh, God, does he ever.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Seth Rollins was on the show tonight. No Rey Mysterio, but that needs to be stretched out. I really thought, at the very least, I really thought they were going to do Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black, but leaving that off the show and keeping this show to 3 hours on the nose is totally fine by me. I'd rather have, I'd even if the matches kind of stink, like some of them weren't that great. You know, like I liked the Asuka Nia Jax match up until the finish. I was like, this is probably one of the better Nia Jax matches I've seen in quite some time. And then the finish happened. I was like, oh, well, that kind of just erases it for me. It was that crappy to me. Yeah. But like, you know, even if the matches kind of stink, I'd rather have a few handful of matches that are well built, get time, than just start randomly throwing shit in there. Like the Raw Tag Team title match would have just been random shit thrown in there. Mm-hmm. Instead, they turned that, you know, shit and made it into something, you know, presentable, you know, with the weird movie that they did with them tonight.
It's kind of like the starting match of the women's triple threat for the women's tag team match. All the words that I'm trying to say for the very first match of this pay-per-view. Oh. You know what? How I tried to construct that sentence? That was better constructed than the match itself. Oh, boy. Man.
Okay. I'll say this. The match actually, I'll give them some credit here. I didn't hate the match when Billie Kay wasn't in it. Peyton Royce is serviceable. I thought that Banks and Bayley were really finding their stride as a tag team. I love that one, you know, wheelbarrow into the knee thing that they did. There you go. That did involve Billie Kay, but she's good at least taking a knee to the face. Well, yeah. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I just love Nikki Cross. I could watch her all day long doing crazy shit, and like that's fun to me. But god damn, if Billie Kay isn't the drizzling fucking shits in the ring. I haven't been to very many independent shows. Usually it's like I go to like those, like, you know, big time wrestling or whatever, if I ever go to them, just because they have some legend there that I'm curious of seeing.
Right.
But every now and then at these shows, they'll do like an intermission, and then when they come back from the intermission, they'll have kids that are from the local wrestling school having their first match or their second match. And I've seen those kids, those greenhorns, those kids that are wet behind the ears, you know, the rookies, have way better, more competent matches than Billie Kay has probably in her entire career. She sucks. Oh my God. It's like, she's so charismatic, and that's what saves her. She is so fucking charismatic. and you have to be you have to have charisma on another level to save you from how fucking bad she is in the ring. And thank God for her, she has it. You know, fuck. I mean, I wish I could be that lucky. I really do. I wish. I'm not that lucky. Oh, terrible. The shits. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, boy. No, well, I'm just playing my Billie Kay sounders. I know you probably can't hear them. No. I know you probably can't, but hey, look, I'm so sad that you had to say all of that about my girl.
I'm sorry,
Billie Kay.
I'm sorry.
Look,
I'm honest. I'm honest with my wife. I got to be honest with you. You know.
Look, I know she sucks. Okay, I know she's horrible in the ring. I know she is, but god damn it, she's the second coming of Vicky Guerrero. Okay.
And Vicky never wrestled.
Vicky never wrestled. Okay. So maybe we can salvage this and just have it be Peyton Royce with Billie Kay on ringside. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
At all. Okay?
I thought we had potential for that I thought they were breaking them
when the
up
slap
a couple weeks
happened.
ago.
Yeah. When the slap happened.
Billie Kay is an authority figure. Absolutely.
Oh.
I'll sign up for that any day.
I know.
Are you kidding me? Tag team match.
Oh God, I know she sucks. But I wish I could just tell you to just bear with it, Mike. Believe me, the payoff is so good.
I recognize the payoff, though. Like, I do see it. I get it. I get it. But I just couldn't get past out. I mean, because she wasn't doing her usual thing. She was actually trying to wrestle, and it was just...
Just
God,
concentrate.
Doug.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
All that we need to do here is whenever they have a tag team match, let Peyton do the stuff. You tag Billie Kay in, and all she's supposed to do is kick and punch, scream at him, tag Peyton back in. You do your thing. Billie Kay the whole time just yelling at people. The entire time. Just being an asshole. That's what you're supposed to do. Be an asshole. Okay?
Yes, please.
That's all you got to do. Don't try to let Sasha Banks be Sasha Banks. Okay? Let everyone else do their thing. Understand what your wheelhouse is and stay there.
Doug. Good point, Doug. You made a good point there, and shame on the other competitors for thinking that they could have a competent match with this person. They should have worked around her weaknesses if they're so damn good.
That's right.
God damn it, Doug, you made a point.
I actually do know something about professional wrestling, but that will be proven otherwise later on when I have my show and I take 2 shots of tequila.
I need to take a shot right now. God damn it.
What did everyone think of the show? Are we giving this a thumbs up or a thumbs down? What are we doing?
I'm giving it a thumbs up. I mean, that main event was so well put together. They didn't make any bones about it either. They didn't pretend that it was a live match taking place. They said that we're enhancing the audio. We're going to be doing a couple different camera angles. You're going to see something really special. Like they essentially said that it's not live and you're going to be watching something taped, but it's really, really good and just enjoy it. I can't say no to that. It was, it wasn't like the Boneyard match, but it was innovative in its own way. I love the Howard Finkel stuff. I love the crowd noise being pumped in. I wish they would do that for every single match.
Did you get a chubby for Charles Robinson in a bow tie?
I love my Charles Robinson, Doug.
He's just down the street from me. He had that shit pressed and ready to go.
Got it out of the old storage locker and just showed up in Orlando.
He's been practicing. Here was my quick thing too about that. When they announced that there were going to be different angles and it was pre-taped, I was like, okay, I'm interested in the camera angles. Okay, this sounds interesting. And when they got to that collar and elbow tie up and the angle was from underneath them going upward, I almost right there, I went, no, I'm tapped out. I'm done. I don't give a shit about this. I don't want any more of that. If I see something like that during that match, I am done. I am not watching that match.
You know what got me?
Huh.
The superplex.
Oh,
when
God.
He hit the superplex and the camera
man.
shook. That was good.
Oh, God. I'm doing this just for Mike. I'm putting the thumbs up in there because, like, for me, I would have given it a thumbs down. But
the whole show?
I wasn't a fan. I mean, and I know the greatest wrestling match ever was on it, but still.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Subjective, of course. I mean, that's all these things are.
Yeah, that's all it is,
My level of enjoyment, it depends on what day you have when you watch some of these shows. It's like, are you in the proper frame of mind to watch wrestling? It's like, are you ready to embrace the absurdity of it? Or are you going to be super serious and angry?
I think it's really more about, did I watch the news before I watched wrestling? Okay? Because if I watch the news before I watch wrestling, I am already in a bad mood. Okay? So. What did everyone think of the show? Everyone, if you're saying thumbs in the middle, you don't count. You need to pick a side. You need to say yes or no. What kind of peanut butter do you like, chunky or creamy? You don't say creamy chunky, Come on. 79.8% gave this show a thumbs up. There are still 10 hours for everyone to change their minds on that decision. Yeah. I guess I'm very meh, but I am not going to say thumbs in the middle. So, yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs down just because there was way too many negatives than there were positives, I guess is the best way to put it. The one positive is just, I don't know what the hell that cinematic match was of the Viking Raiders Street Profits. I feel like it was some kind of acid trip of an unemployed creative writer. So that's all I'm taking it as. I don't know. But yeah. I'm spent. Are you spent, Mike?
I'm spent.
Oh, good. Mike, tell everybody what you're going to be doing tomorrow and potentially through the week.
Oh, tomorrow I am going to be recapping Raw, and then I will be hopping on to the Wrestleview post Raw number 86 with my wife Victoria. We are 14 shows away from our 100th show.
Oh, jeez.
So, I mean, if we don't take any time off, we will hit that around September. So we still got a ways to go. 14 sounds like a small number, but when you only do it once a week, it's a little ways. We got some ways to go. We'll go through our entire summer. But post Raw, we'll be back, and we'll be back. You'll have a Wrestleview news with Mr. Jerome Weiland probably on Saturday. I think you can count on that. Yeah. And other than that, I'll just be covering the news all week, and I'm covering some stories right now. Edge has confirmed that he has torn his triceps during the taping of this match last week. So
oh boy,
there's that torn triceps. That's a tough one. We don't know the severity, the grade, all that stuff, but I'll have that story up on Wrestleview in a little while. So by the time you're hearing this, it's going to already be up. So it's not going to be.
Oh, hey, you heard it here first, kids. Thanks for staying up so late. Yeah,
but that's what I do. Oh, and school's coming to an end this week. Thank God.
Oh, there you go.
No more distance learning.
Thank God. And then on me, guys, you can catch me showing up here next Sunday for Wrestleview Weekly, where I will talk about all of the stuff that happened probably on NXT and on SmackDown, going over some of the week's news that Mikey and the intrepid one, Jerome, are going to talk about. A chock full WWE milk carton, as always. And the project that I'm working on is we're going to talk about how old everyone is. Yeah, because we found out through quick research that on SmackDown, the 12 male performers that performed on SmackDown, the average age was 38 years old. Of the 12 performers who were in the ring on SmackDown last Friday, only 3 of them were under the age of 35. So
that is interesting.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into that. That sounds very interesting. And at the same time, should we be pressing the panic button when it comes to some performers that might be leaving soon? And I mean soon, within the next 2 or 3 years.
You know what I'd be curious about, Mr. Doug?
What do you be curious about, Mr. Mike?
Is like on shows like just on Raw and SmackDown, because NXT just consistently gets thumbs up just because it's NXT.
Well, yeah, no one watches NXT. Yeah, but yeah,
that's right. I'd be very curious to find out, on shows like Raw and SmackDown that get thumbs up, what the average age of those performers were that night compared to shows that get the thumbs down.
Oh, we could do that.
I wonder because, I found that the old guys were doing their thing, they telling stories in the ring. Friday night SmackDown, they had that great Intercontinental title match, which I get why Roy was right. I get why they held it off of Backlash, because that would have actually absolutely blown Edge and Orton out of the water. The old guys doing their thing, and that carried the show to what was a really good show. Jeff Hardy's, acting in that DUI segment, carried the show. There was a lot of great stuff with the old guys that got thumbs up. I'm just curious.
Well, it's usually
shows centered around young guys, maybe doing one too many moves and nothing really connecting. Maybe that's a thumbs down.
No, it's usually what it is. SmackDown gets the higher rated and the higher marks because, and it's mainly because honestly they have performers on there that have way more experience, is what it seems to me. But I'll definitely compare episodes of Raw, even though honestly they're the same people on every show that appear on television. But I would definitely am going to be comparing Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, and just looking at the ages is what it is. But at the same time, looking at, there are many performers on this roster right now that are 40 years or older and have really got to we've got to be looking at 2 or 3 years down the line, they're going to be leaving. And so what kind of a void will they be leaving? Okay, and we're not saying who's going to be the next X to take the place of X. We're just saying, with that void gone, can it be filled with who they have right now? And if not, how long will it take for that void to be filled? So, but until then, little fettuccine in the chat room, also known as Tiny Noodle. Fantasy book tomorrow night's Raw. I can't do that right now. I'm too tired. Thanks. I can't. I'm too tired, and I've got really bad gas. So
I'm not mentally ready to even think about Raw yet.
No. So anyway, Mike and Victoria on Monday, myself on Sunday, Mike and Jerome on Saturday, talking wrestling and stuff. Everyone have a great week. Don't be stupid. Mind what everyone tells you to do. And as always, the thing that I do always say, know when you're being sold to. I'm going to say it again. Yes, I am going to say it again. Know when you're being sold to. Find the button. I found the button.